How's it going, everyone? I'm Honan,
I'm Oliver.
and today is our September mid-year review of K-pop. Just a little bit late,
Yes,
just a little
J-
bit.
just a bit. Like things kept happening, videos kept dropping, and we were busy. We had stuff going on, so yeah,
Yeah,
it is what it is.
it's
We
here.
we
It's
took the
it's here
time.
now.
Yeah.
We
So we
will.
we
Yeah, yeah. You go ahead.
we set like a cutoff of June 30th, and we just looked at everything that's come out in the K-pop sphere up until that point. Mostly title tracks, but a few other songs here and there. And this will be more kind of casual than our like deep top 10 at the end of the year.
Yeah, because I feel like at the end of the year, you're fully, you know it, like you're fully committed to what was the
Yeah,
best release. Like this point, there's still something that can surprise me and shock me before
yeah.
it all is over.
And it's like there's stuff that I'm bumping a lot now that I'm like, oh yeah, this is my top five right now. But I know that some of the songs that came out at the start of the year that I really loved that I just haven't listened to as much recently because they're a bit older. Is like I know if I when I go back and give all of them due attention, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, no, this is better.
Yeah. I think anybody who knows me though knows that I pretty much like I have my like one for the whole year, and there's just the other songs basically
All
that are
right.
under there. Because I don't see, I just don't see it being dethroned before the end of the year. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. We'll kind of
Yeah.
have a top five, both of us, for the mid year so far, and then just like some general songs we'll gloss over, kind of.
Yeah, we'll just kind of mention stuff, and obviously, if maybe at the end of the year, or that we can put all of these songs that we mentioned at the end once we do at the end of the year into like a playlist, and we can share that so people
For sure,
can
yeah.
check them
Make
out.
like a mid year playlist, and then the one that's the end of the
Yeah,
year playlist. That makes
something
sense.
like that. Yeah.
I think
So
you're gonna have
how
quite
do
a
you
bit of the
feel?
same.
Yeah, maybe. I think I'm gonna have some more like, huh? Like, what is that?
Well,
But
possibly.
I try to keep it like more normal than I did last year because last year I had like Anya and songs and stuff, which will inevitably happen again because
Of course,
Revolution
by the
and
end of
Flat.
the year,
But
he'll throw his serious ones in there.
yes, yes. But yeah, how do you feel about the year so far in K-pop?
So far, it's been one of, in my K-pop experience, so far I'd say it's been one of my favorites because I feel like the release of like fourth gen girl group music, in my opinion, has been really good. Like the I've Love Dive like kind of solidified them as like one of my favorite groups. And then I had Red Velvet come back with a really dope comeback that had a bit of like Bach thrown into it, which is
More
like,
than a bit, yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then Stacy released, still consistently releasing really good music. I just feel like it was a really good year of me becoming a bigger fan of groups I was liking but not a big fan of yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like a
Yeah,
couple groups solidified themselves.
yeah. I kind of feel the same, and I've it's like the while we've like had to kind of bid farewell to a few hard done by new goods and stuff who ended up disbanding and contracts had expired and saw some groups depart and stuff. Um, it has been really solid for the newer generation, especially for the girls. Like the boys, I feel like we've had some good songs from the boys, but it tends to be the already established boys that are giving the hitters, and the
Yeah.
newer ones I'm just like I know there's some things there, but I'm like, come on guys, I know we can do better than what's been coming up from a lot of you. It's not to say that I'm totally anti all of the men, of course, but it's just like there's a couple just yeah.
I would have liked to have had, because like I've talked about like when we did our boy group ranking, like N hyphens drunk days to like Tame Dash. Like if that was this year, I would be like
Right.
screaming their names to the
Yeah.
heavens on this list. Same with Ive and the other stuff. It was just that was last year, so I can't quite pump it the same way
Yeah,
that I am like
exactly.
with when I'm talking about Ive and Stacy. But I do, yeah, like they're being, I'm it's a little spicy take. I just feel like the fourth gen girl groups are kind of leaving the fourth gen boy groups a little bit in the dust right now.
Yeah.
Personally, this year for me, like
yeah, I think the third gen boy groups are still doing great.
No,
Like,
yeah,
don't get me wrong.
I'm talking specifically fourth
And
gen.
the older ones still. And
Yeah.
obviously we can't quite cover it yet, but this has been a year of like revivals almost. Like we've had this obviously what isn't in the half year review that we've done, but obviously we had the Big Bang release, we had the Girls' Generation release, so
Yeah.
that's just that's awesome. But we'll cover that at the end of the year, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't. We can't talk. We can't really put either one of those in our mid-year review, considering
No.
they just pretty much happened. So best way we can do this maybe is just each one of us do our top five in an order, and then kind of at the end generally talk about a lot of the songs we wrote down in general. Just kind of gloss over them.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Do you want to start from 5 to 1? What do you like to do? 5 to 1 or 1
Uh,
to 1? It always
yeah,
makes sense to go 5 to 1. Like,
yeah. Let's do 5 to 1, just because I think my one is gonna be kind of like, huh, really? And I mean, I'm still kind of thinking of it that way, but myself, I think it's definitely just what I'm like fucking with the most at the moment, rather than
it's girls
necessarily
on
gonna
top.
be my favorite. Step back, silly girl. So yeah, we'll start at number 5. So my number 5 is Psy that featuring
Okay.
Sugar, because I don't think like this is not a song I think is the most like interestingly constructed or like impressive musically or whatever, but it's like everything that K-pop should be. It's just like good old-fashioned fun. It's just like it gets you going, like that chorus gets you pumped, like you're just like
I liked it a lot
super
actually,
fun, like
as well.
Sugar kills it with his verse, like, which is great because we talked about how like underwhelming Sugar's verse on 8 was with IU, for example, but here he absolutely killed it. Really fits into the song well, and I guess I'm also kind of biased because I saw this live. Granted, it was just Psy, not with Sugar, sadly, but it was like in the Olympic Stadium in Seoul, like everyone on their feet going nuts to this with fireworks and shit going on. I was like, hell yeah, this song is fucking going hard. So yeah, so that one is just for how much fun it is, and it always gets me pumped whenever I listen to it. So yeah, that's my number 5.
I think too it had been kind of a while since Psy had like released that like major like jam like that everyone's like all into, because
It's been a while since he released anything.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because he always hits it for me. Like I actually always enjoyed, like, even when he had like New Face, and then there was like the Daddy one that came out and stuff. I feel like he always just comes out with that song. Like if you walk in a club and that comes on, you're like, oh hell yeah, if that like kicks in,
Right.
So I liked that as well a lot. The video was always really entertaining with Psy as well too.
He knows what he's doing, basically.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You're very smart, dude. My number 5 is a solo man as well, Changmin Devil.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah. So
I can get behind it.
if anyone who doesn't know, I'm in love with this man. I always say I'm straight, but Changmin.
Yeah.
There's like an example, but I actually really liked. It had a bit of heavy component to it, like a chorus, and that kind of that slap that comes in there on that chorus, And anyone who's seen the video, enough said. Like there's his voice too, just. Oof.
Oh yeah, I mean his voice goes without saying, really. But like, I mean, his solo music in the last couple of years has been really like, since Chocolate with Maniac and Devil, like he's really been releasing some like great stuff. And it hasn't really been getting the just attention it deserves. I feel like, I think, yeah, he just kind of gets overlooked because he's been in the game for 20 years almost. Yeah, but yeah, but it's like, what can you say about Changmin or TVXQ that hasn't been said? Like he's a god. Like they're the emperors, right? Like
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me how difficult vocally there are certain parts in that song too, and then how crazy his choreography seems at some parts of it. It's
Yeah,
like the
that's
mix
the
of how
thing.
talented is this man. Like you're
Yeah,
just
and like for I mean he's not as old as you might expect. He's in his like mid 30s, right? But it's
yeah.
like yeah, I mean everyone knows about his vocal ability, and like how effortlessly, especially he's always very like his falsetto and his high notes and stuff are always the kind of things that people go towards. But like the way he reaches his notes is really impressive.
Yeah.
But like
I
yeah, but his
wouldn't even
dancing is no
attempt
joke.
like the devil. He goes like into like the it's such a like high tenor note, but he yeah. I had to
Yeah.
give Changmin some love because I feel like Devil is probably my personal favorite of his, and that came out this year,
Mm.
so it was like had to throw it in there. Key's Bad Love was like something I really considered as well. I do believe that was this year as well. I might be wrong.
No, that was last year.
No, it was last year. Okay, well there you go. That's why I did.
It was like
That's
it was like November, I think,
okay,
last year.
okay. So I'm totally wrong, but that was a honorable mention. Great song.
Yeah, that's a good one.
uh, let's go ahead. You're number 4.
Okay, so my number 4 was Le Seraphim with The Great Mermaid. So
Interesting. Okay,
not Fearless.
I was worried you were gonna say Fearless there for a second. I was gonna be like, really?
No. Yeah, no. The Great Mermaid, and this I remember when it came out, that album, I listened to it, and I remember we both really enjoyed the intro.
Yes, best song.
The
World is my oyster.
Yeah. But I was like, I'm not gonna put an intro in my top 5 for the but yeah, The Great Mermaid is like that kind of very like synth rich. I don't give a shit.
Mhm. This man, for anyone who doesn't know, loves his swearing from Idol.
Hell yeah! I love it.
When Yunjin released her like solo acoustic thing, you must have been soaring to the heavens.
Oh my god! Especially like an idol group, like on a formal release like that, to be dropping bitches and shits everywhere, like hell yeah, let's go, girl. But no, but aside from that, it is a great song in general. I do I do think Fearless is a good song. It just doesn't have that kind of, it doesn't have that height to it. It's just like
I agree that it's a good
popper
song. I think when it came out, though, I had just experienced like 2 of the best 4th gen girl group releases like right before it, so it was like,
Right.
okay, like this is like what's happening.
And the teasers for the group in general got me like so ready, because like
yes, the like 9 Inch Nails teaser music had me expecting something more along those lines, and
right,
then it was Fearless.
Yeah, but so and that's the thing. So the Great Mermaid is really what the kind of music that, and World is my oyster, is like what I was really hoping to hear from them, and what I expect to hear more of, what I'm hoping to hear more of in their upcoming comeback. So yeah, so that's my number 4.
Nice. My number 4, The World is my just kidding. This was a little tricky as I was going through everything, but my number 4 at the moment is gonna be Taeyeon I Envy You. So I got 2 solo SM artists back to back. You might notice I have a certain style of music I like.
Yeah, if it has Taeyeon in it, it tends to be a winner.
Yes. There was actually like Taeyeon had a couple kind of release things because she had that other music video right before this one.
The Can't Control Myself.
Yeah, which was a really good song, but I Envy You just, I don't.
I mean, her album in general was really good.
Yeah, something about Bow Goddess, Taeyeon, the whole I Envy You choreography. I don't know. To me, the way that course and choreography slapped together with like something out of the Lord of the Rings Taeyeon was just enough to solidify as a whole package for me of just being one of the best releases of the whole year.
Yeah, that like just that final like long sustain that she does in that song is one of my favorite like moments of it, like when she just kind of slides down the scale as she does it. I'm just like, oh. But every time I listen to that song, I'm looking forward to that part. Like, yeah,
it's so good in my opinion. And just like, we can always talk about Taeyeon's voice, but I feel like the way that was like something kind of different from her, because Weekend had happened last year, kind of before that and stuff, and I wasn't expecting her to do like something like I Envy You.
A
I
bit
guess would
darker.
be, yeah, it was much darker,
Yeah.
and then like the choreography seemed like a lot of choreo from Taeyeon. Like,
She was dancing again. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's really good to see. It was
Mhm.
like it felt more like Taeyeon the idol rather than like Taeyeon the
It,
singer
it
in
felt like
many
the
ways.
leader of Girls' Generation Taeyeon more than
Yeah.
like her exactly than like what I'm used to the just pure artist Taeyeon side.
Yeah.
Which I guess
I
I
think that's
enjoy. I'm such a Girls' Generation fanboy that I was glad to get a little bit more of that Taeyeon.
right. Especially since that was in the time before we knew that we knew what could come later. Yeah.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're on our number threes.
Okay, my number 3 is La Luna by I Chillin. I
Okay.
think this may well end up having my like B-side of the year type awards thing going on to it. This I Chillin, I kind of got like like I ended up liking them by default because I got entered into a fan sign for them before I even really knew them. So I like met this is like for their second EP release, and so I like met them but before I'd even fully like absorbed their music or anything. So I heard that album and that song the day of the fan sign, and was like, holy shit, this like the songs are okay, but like nothing incredible. But then that song, I was like, bloody hell, like it made me really British all of a sudden. And it's exactly
Starting
the
to
kind
sound
of
like
thing I was like.
Siyun there, bro.
It's it's super synth poppy. It's like but it's driven by really good vocals, and the raps are really cool, and I enjoyed some of the lyrics in it as well.
This is I Chillin', right?
Yeah.
Okay, I definitely
La,
saw it.
la, 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 la,
I remember in a live for sure seeing. Like,
yeah,
seeing
I
stuff.
showed you a stage of it as well, I think, because they
Yeah.
promoted it, some cool choreo. Yeah, I remember I talked to one of the members about it, and she said that like they were really happy about how people are responding to the song because they worked really hard on it and stuff. And I was like, all right, from now on, I'm a willing, which is their fandom name, and and this is my song. So yeah, yeah, just a banger. And they're as a group, they're a lovely bunch of girls. And do very much recommend checking them out. And then they're by no means famous or successful. So
I feel like if you throw synth pop out there, it's very easy to get people to check it out.
Yeah, and by people it means me.
Yes, and also me.
Let me
We've
in
been
right away.
completely like in love with the synth wave of K-pop.
Yeah.
All right, well, my number 3 is it had to come up at some point. Okay, Red Velvet, Feel My Rhythm. All right.
Okay. I'm actually surprised. I thought that would be your number 1.
No. We you'll see.
Okay.
So for Red Velvet, what do I even have to say? I feel like anyone who's ever seen this channel knows that I'm just like the number 1 Revelove in the world right now. Although until you see my number 1, we'll see. But
Okay.
yes, Red Velvet, Feel My Rhythm. I feel like that video, their videos are always so weird. Like, you know, and then the mix of how strange it was to have a song that has just Bach blowing through half of it, you know, just when that happened, I was like, this is why I love Red Velvet so much. Like when
that was the thing, right? It was like quintessential Red Velvet, like everything about that, right? Like, because I feel like I personally was a big fan of Queendom. I thought that Queendom was a really good song.
Still a really good song. Yeah.
Yes, it like after having waited a long time after Psycho and stuff, some people may have been disappointed. I can kind of understand that, but I honestly wasn't disappointed with it at all. I thought it was great. But then Feel My Rhythm was like, oh, this is returning to a form that I'd forgotten that Red Velvet was capable of being at. You know, like I was placated with a good song, and I didn't know that they could still had a great one in store. yeah,
exactly.
that Hieronymus Bosch style music video is just like something out of this world as well.
I do agree that Queendom was also a really good release. It was after I feel like they always do that where they release something kind of like Psycho and release something like on the opposite spectrum. You know what I
Mm,
mean? They kind of always flip you between that like Velvet and like Red side. It's like the whole purpose of their
right,
their
yeah.
group basically. So, but yeah, Feel My Rhythm, like you're saying, is just one of those things. You're like, only Red Velvet could like release this. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like when it comes out. It's like only Red Velvet would do this. Like,
Yeah.
has that happened? And in general, the I've become such a sucker for some reason for those like Irene talk rap sections, and like Yeri and Irene both have like those
Yeah.
talk rap parts.
Yeri's parts I feel like are really prominent in that song
Yeah,
actually.
like when it does
Yeah.
that, yeah. But Solgi's voice, me and you have both proclaimed our love of Solgi's voice so many times, and I feel
Yes.
like just that song has some of the best like Solgi, windy, clapping back at each other basically parts happening in it. There's too many great parts. I feel like the usage of that classical song in there is so good, whereas I feel like another group would totally butcher that where they used it so
Right.
tastefully in my opinion, and the way the choreography does like that little ballerina movement at the one breakdown
Yeah,
for it.
it's very artistic and like well executed. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact their video had all those like subtle things of like different paintings and stuff thrown into it's just Red Velvet.
Yeah.
It's like it's just Red Velvet being Red Velvet, and that's why I love it so much.
Yeah.
I just realized all of my picks so far are SM Entertainment, so I guess I have a style of
You're an SM fan.
Yes, I'm an SM stan. I hate all other. No, I'm just joking. All right, we're already on number 2.
Number two. Well, okay. So my number two. This probably won't be a surprise, but it's Pisces by Yerin Beck.
Okay,
Yeah, it's hard for me to ever leave her out of any equation, and she screwed me over last year because her album dropped in like December of the year before, so we didn't include it in the in the year review.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's taken more of an interest in rock stuff lately since she's been doing a lot with her band with the Volunteers, and that made its way into her solo release here, which is just 3 songs. But this one, it's like it makes me feel nostalgia for a childhood I never had. Like like the video of like these kids running through a forest and like having these kind of like out of this world kind of experience and
Oh, okay, so
seeing
I remember the exact one you're talking
stuff.
about because you
Yeah,
just showed that to me recently. Yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, it just the way that Erin is always able to tell a story and make you and just transport me completely to where she wants me to go with her music is just like it's always very impressive, and I'm always here to listen to whatever it is that she has to say.
I always enjoy her music when you show it to me, but like especially her voice just is one of those voices you can listen to sing for hours. Like, you know, it's
Yeah.
just it's got that it's something like heartwarming about listening to her voice which is funny considering the lyrics sometimes are kind of like depressing, I would say, I guess, in a sense or something, you know, like but it's almost like being wrapped in a safety blanket by her voice while listening to like something kind of sad at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, her voice is like it's like Oneric. It's like it's dreamlike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But she's and the fact that she's able to pair that kind of like ethereal singing style with like harder instrumentation, because like this song is driven by like a dan, 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 like sort of strumming guitar line, and she's just able to sing in the same style that she usually does, just on top of that, and it still fits together just as well as it does when she's doing like a much softer kind of mellow background. So yeah,
nice.
very cool stuff.
I could never disagree with the Yerin Beck pick. So it's like Yerin Beck, BB, you can never go wrong. There's just a couple of those,
Yeah.
like for anyone who hasn't heard her music, her solo music is amazing, but also the Volunteers, the band she's a part of, is really cool, especially if you're into that kind of like I would say like end of 90s kind of rock band sound.
Yeah,
Like
if you're ever into shoegaze, like if you ever did like if you ever were a fan of My Bloody Valentine or Slow Dive or Ride or stuff like that, then
her voice fits the band style just perfectly. There's certain singers who they sound like they're meant to be in a band, you know? Like it's
yeah.
she's got that voice. My number 2, I was battling between two Stacy songs. So
Okay.
but what I ended
I
up
figured out the rest of your list now.
I ended up going with Young Love
Okay.
as my number 2.
Okay.
for
I
Stacey.
actually would have thought you would have gone with Run to You. But...
When I listened to the album, I noticed I listened to Young Love more, and it's because it's because I just don't feel like I got that release of style of the song from like any other K-pop group in the year. Like there's especially that like Cranberries chorus guitar in the intro or whatever. Like that's like it's just something about it. I don't know. And then it's Seun's voice, you know, that hold she has right after like the first line. It kind of floats over it, like that happens in the show. You know, like floats that right over the. That is like one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. Just the way that opening happens of their vocals, like it's so good in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I said this during the reaction that I'm not that familiar with who is who in Stacey, but they are extremely like they use everyone's voices really well in their songs. And I mean, like that's the thing we were talking about, like how well put together their songs are and stuff. It's like obviously, like this Black Eyed Pills song. It's like this is like one of the best producer teams that's been in Korea ever. So like obviously their songs are going to be well made.
They made like twice hits and stuff, right?
Yeah,
like
they've made hits across the board. Yeah, like,
yeah.
And this is like their project, you know. It's so there's a lot of focus that went into it. It's it always every time they release something, it's always like this has a uniqueness to it, while also being familiar enough that it's not off-putting. And it's like, yeah, it just they constantly kind of check boxes for me as well. So yeah, I get it. I still think I would have picked Run to You just from just because I love that like
that's why it was actually like a struggle pick, because I feel like they're just, it depends on like what listening mood you're in, because I feel like they're just so drastically different from each other, like especially like the beginning choreography thing, run where they all like spin around, you know. But yeah, Run to You is amazing, especially the pre-chorus section of it. But yeah, Young Love for me was just one of the most unique girl group releases in my opinion. So I just loved that song, so had to put it in there.
Fair enough.
Number 1, we're there. We're at our our number ones of our mid-year.
So my number 1 is Danger by Wua.
Let me think about that.
You're so sick. I'm in love. I'm in danger.
Okay, I do know what song you're talking about, because I think sometimes when I think of Wua, I'm thinking of the wrong, like, who did that after school? Is that what that song is called?
That's Weekly.
Weekly, okay.
Yes.
That song slaps. The one I just named.
It does. It does. Didn't come out this year.
No. Yeah. Okay, but I know who you're talking. I know the Wua song you're talking about.
Yeah.
It clicked in my.
Yeah. I think this is just the song that I've just been listening to a lot lately, and it's just been it hasn't gotten boring for me at any point when I've listened to it. And it's like there are a couple elements to it that is incredibly appealing. It's like right out the bat, there's like they come through on this like with this first rap verse comes in so hard. It's like it's so uncalled for, given how the song starts, Because if the song starts with a beat that almost is reminiscent of like Anaconda by Nicki Minaj, it's just like a walking bass line. It's just like dun 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 dun,
Yeah.
and it just repeats like that. And then suddenly it turns into like the rapper comes in, like we're going right there, and it's like, oh my god, like why are you spinning so hard? Like what's the call for? And then the chorus is just like super catchy, and it's driven by like just like a really kind of almost like drony high synth, like it's just like really risky to do if it isn't catchy, but they managed to pull it off, even though it's so threadbare, but it still works. And then they have a dance break to kind of close out the song, which it builds up to really well and then just hits you perfectly.
Is this the one that has the dance break where live the girl does the backflip?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm thinking. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of different. I thought that is Woo-ah though, right? The member who will do the flip. No, my thinking. Oh my god, I'm not thinking of Weekly again. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I went straight to Barbie Girl by Fanatics, but I don't think that's who we're talking about either. I think maybe Billy did that.
No, like it's between those. It's between the two Woo-ahs.
Okay, well, no, I haven't. I didn't watch any,
I do know what song you're talking about. I just, for some reason, I was thinking there's like the pink-haired girl who does a flip, and I thought it was in Woo-ah for some reason.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
Maybe I've seen more
than
you have.
Well, do you know what? It's actually it's so rare for me to watch live stages here because on YouTube they're all blocked.
Oh,
so I very rarely see any of the live stages unless people like stream them to me, because otherwise I have to watch through a VPN and I can't be bothered.
I'm actually genuinely surprised that not like that would be in your top 5. I'm genuinely surprised that was the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I mean, it will probably change by the end of the year, but it's just something that I'm like, every time I hear this, I'm like, yeah, this is just as fresh as like. Actually, I didn't even like it that much the first time I heard it, but
it grew on you a lot.
Something
throughout the.
Yeah, something came like where I kept just wanting to listen to that song again, and I keep going back to it, and every time I do, I'm like not disappointed at all. So, yeah, shouts out to Woo-ah.
All the what is their fandom name?
Wow.
Shout out to all the wow.
Big up to the wows.
The wows, yeah. My number 1, I mean, you have to know what it is.
It's Love Dive.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone who knows me doesn't know. I feel like if every day some poor soul, well, actually some lucky soul, has had to hear me bump that obscenely loud. Like, especially as I'm driving. Many people have heard ooh as I drive by, as like some spectral ghost just flying by you doing that
haunting the deserts of California.
I think Love Dive, I don't know. I wouldn't even, that's not just like my mid-year favorite, that's just in general one of my favorite K-pop releases ever is Love Dive. It's one of the best I've ever heard. It's my favorite of theirs, without a doubt. My number 1 without a doubt so far, and I just don't see anything dethroning that towards the end of the year either, in my opinion.
Wow. Unless they release another song.
Well, they did. another song. Yeah. It'd take Red Velvet or IVE themselves to kind of like, or Stacey. Stacey, like I said, has been so consistently releasing amazing music, but yeah, still, it starts, and I don't expect it when it starts to be that. What it is, it just has that simple like
I mean
like thing happening, but like
I remember when, because we did the reaction to that, and I remember when we were watching it, and like how how at first like the narcissistic, my god, and I was like this is the chorus, like this is very low key,
Mhm.
like, and I'm wondering like what happens, and the fact that it just kind of explodes into that,
Yeah.
I think both of us were there like grinning like idiots. We were like,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
The gates of like Valhalla open after that
Yeah.
chorus. Dude. Like,
And it's like, how the scene in the MV is them like in that car like flying, right? But like that's
yeah.
actually what you're like. It's like sonically, you're just like, oh shit, we're taking off, boys. Like, where are we going?
That like after chorus, the way that like hits you is so unexpected the first time you hear that song.
Yeah,
Exactly. It just hits you in a way where I'm like, oh damn, I was not expecting that in the least.
yeah. It's very well done. They certainly know what they're doing for them
Yes.
over at Starship.
I I think the thing I like the most about that song is it's like for me because we had heard 11 and we were kind of like okay this is an amazing debut, what is this group going to be able to release in the future, and then I feel like Love Dive was them like cementing their style into like who they are as a girl group. Like
Yeah,
I felt like that put them in a different plane from like all the other girl groups that were around them.
I mean, yeah, that it certainly helped. People in Korea are saying between with 11, Love Dive, and After, like, they're saying that this is like a triple hit that like hasn't been seen in a long time
Yeah.
from groups like, and I mean they've already total sold over 1.5 million albums. Like, they are only gonna get bigger.
Yeah.
Like, and also actually today is Won Young's 18th birthday. So
Congratulations to Won. Yeah, I try
I,
to think purely of just music when I watch anything I've. It's like
yeah,
you because
but
that's how young they are.
I mean, to try and put into perspective how insane that is, it is the fourth anniversary, 4 years to the day of when Won Young won first place on Produce 48.
That's right.
She took first place on her 14th birthday, which and just begun a career that has been like just constantly going to new heights. So I'm fascinated to see what the next kind of 10 years holds for her, because for her especially because she can speak really good English as well. So I feel like she at some point they when they inevitably make a foray into the Western market like directly, I do wonder
Yeah, for
what might
what
happen there.
I've seen of Ray doing like rapping stuff, she can rap in like English pretty well. Like from what I saw, like
Mm,
she did like a thing where she did three language rap. So they have two members there that are already like fluently crossing into different languages.
mm.
And then I feel like Won Young has a lot of advantage because she's already a veteran idol, basically.
Yeah, her and Nugent have been in this game
Yeah.
for 4 years already. Yeah,
Yeah, like it's not like she's surprised by sudden success or anything. You know what I mean?
no,
She's
and
very
yeah, she's
comfortable in
taking
it.
she she's racking up brand deals and endorsements and stuff. Like, earlier today, I went to an aside. I went to buy some batteries, as one needs to do, because
Yeah.
my my keypad to my apartment was running out of battery, and I was like, well, better get some to fix that. I walk into a store to buy them, and I see Won Young's face plastered on the walls to buy advertising some random beauty products or whatever, and I'm just like, geez,
Yeah,
to
as a group,
have
they're
all of
just like
this
a
at her age.
behemoth, like of everything. Like the songs are so good, but then when you look like at members like Yoonjin or Won Young, it's obvious they're gonna be like brand deals constantly for this
Yeah,
group. You know,
and
like it's
Ray is also carrying a lot of popularity, and like, she was the one who kind of popularized the is it the Gyaru pose, like the
yeah,
upside
I know what
down.
you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, she basically got everyone to start doing that in Korea. Like, everyone is doing that in Korea.
Everyone needs to stop
Yeah,
sleeping on the best member of IVE, who is the short hair
Gaul.
queen that is Gaul. Yes. No, that I overall that yeah, there's just something about IVE. There's just something there, like from the moment they debuted, and then it's more than any of like the newer groups that have been coming out. Like I'm just always super excited to see what is happening next from them, like because their music has
Yeah,
just been so good as it's released each time. So I I
yeah.
I Fourth, the next one better be like something way different from After. Like I feel like that's where they're heading, just something like
Yeah,
drastically different.
I I I think that's kind of to come back to what we said at the start about the boys not really being able to live up to that same kind of standard, as in boys in general, not the group, the boys. um, it's like there aren't many boy groups that I'm looking forward to every release with that same level of anticipation of like
No.
how far are we going up this time. It's not just like, oh, are they going to drop something good, like because with like ENHYPEN and TXT, like they're releasing good music a lot of the time. And I'm like, I am eager to see, because I'm like, oh, I've enjoyed a lot of what I've heard, and I'm looking forward to hearing more. But and they are doing crazy well for sales and stuff. But with IVE, I'm like, I feel like the sky really is the limit for them.
Yeah,
Um,
you feel that they could just go completely global at like any click of a
yeah,
second.
and that's not to kind of to count out what's already being done by like aespa, for example, who've been doing their own little breaks into the Western stuff as it is. I mean, we've seen them on various content sites in the West and stuff, and doing certainly attracting some new fans, although I think their music is still a bit too weird to get that mass appeal. But I respect that they haven't tried to release really simple stuff, apart from the release English song, I guess, is probably a bit more like that.
Well, it's kind of funny you say that though. Well, like "Girls" was still a really weird song, like you're saying, kind of
Yeah.
to try and push to the Western Mario. But Life's Too Short, right? The English one
Yeah.
they did. I actually really like that song. I actually think that
Yeah,
was
it's a
really
nice
good.
song.
Like
It's a nice song.
almost like I had that written in my larger list of songs, because I think it's one of those ones like the Feels from Twice, where when they made like a fully English song, I feel like they somehow kept like that element of still sounding like them and like a K-pop group. Because I feel like some groups will make an English song and it just feels like, is this the same group kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know? But
They're
like
just kind of singing it. Just the
I don't
song
know,
that they're singing rather than their song.
the video and like song for that I enjoyed overall.
The video helped sell it to me a bit more, I think, because when I heard it at Coachella, not that I was at Coachella, when I watched the Coachella stream, and I was kind of like, oh, I was hoping it would be a bit more aespa-y.
Oh, okay. So I've not seen like a single live
But
performance of
but,
it.
but at the same time, I understand why they're not going to start coming through talking about Kwangya and I and Navis and all that shit.
You mean Winter didn't just show up with a katana like she does in the music video on stage during that performance?
Anytime Winter is on stage, my head is just suddenly full of white noise and I can't focus for some reason.
Anyone who doesn't know, me and Oliver have long agreed on Winter being aespa's best member.
So I've noticed that whenever she has hair extensions in, I don't notice at all. I'm like, whatever. It's very interesting. Anyway, I guess this can kind of be our segue to talking about like what other songs we have in our kind of hodgepodges of stuff, because I do have aespa's Illusion in my sort of short list or long list, I guess.
The album's Illusion, right? Was there a song called Illusion?
Illusion was the pre-release for that album.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, yes. I remember seeing that as like just a neon background as I listened to the song or whatever, because it was.
Yeah, there was no like video or anything for it. But yeah, that one had that really like heavy synth bass in it, and just like I was just going yeah. That it might be my favorite aespa song in general, actually. Though I have become a fucking sucker for Black Mamba. Not Black Mamba even. I do like Black Mamba, but for Next Level especially.
I like how weird all of those aespa releases are as far as being like mainstream. Like Next Level and Savage have just breakdowns where you're like, okay, I guess this is happening now.
I think the thing is, they're able to sell it more than I think other groups could do it, just because of the way that like the rapping and vocals, especially like when like at the end of Savage, for example, when Savage is going fully weird. Like Savage goes nuts at the end, right?
Yeah.
But it's like if you don't have Ning Ning and Winter like ad libbing,
Yeah,
over
doing
that,
like yeah
yeah,
in the background and stuff. Yeah,
just like over the top, yeah. And then like if they aren't them and they're not hitting that, it wouldn't work. But
it
because they are,
it totally works because it's
yeah,
Espa. Like,
yeah.
yeah. If I heard I have heard some girl groups try to do the Espa-ish kind of style.
Well, that was the thing. Like even a group as good as Purple Kiss, for example, when they did Mem or whatever you want to call it, that was it felt like Savage light, and it just didn't work. It didn't suit Purple Kiss as much, I felt, and it just didn't hit.
I feel like it's such a. It almost has to be an SM Entertainment group to get away with certain like stylistic things because like, they're it only works sometimes for them. I feel like
Kenzie needs to be involved somewhere on the along the line. I don't know, because Kenzie or Youngjin or one of the SM high ups needs to be involved at some point to make it work.
I guess to kind of like overall, we should just honorable mentions kind of from our bigger list of things that we didn't quite throw in.
Yeah, we can just kind of like go one after the other if you want.
A big one for me that I didn't include is a woman who has taken over my life over like half the year, which is Kwon Eun-bi. Glitch was a great release in my opinion. It just didn't make it in the top 5, but it was a great release. Overall, I've enjoyed
too.
All of Eun-bi's like music that I've checked out. For me, has been the best of like the solo IZ*ONE members, in my opinion.
A special shout out to Eun-bi just being like, "I'm that bitch." She's been doing great with her solo music so far. She's just having fun with it and dropping a lot of stuff, which it's cool to see. I guess we'll just kind of just rattle some more. So one I had was Scent by Yukika. Obviously, I'm gonna have Yukika involved somewhere.
That's Moonset from Yukika.
Moonset was the one she did with Your Beagle, but no, this is Scent.
Scent. Oh, okay, yeah.
Scent, yeah.
Moonset is the one I remember recently checking out.
Scent is the one with that gorgeous sax.
Oh, okay, yes, okay.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Can't fault that.
No, Yukika's music is really good for anyone who also. I feel like some of these names, maybe not everyone who watches has heard Yukika or Yeren Beck. You got to check out some of these that we're talking about because they are amazing.
Yeah.
A big one I think I have to bring up that neither one of us put in there is Play from Yuju.
Yeah, that's in mine.
Really,
as well.
Really, really good.
Yeah,
and reminded me of everything I was like missing when we watched Vivis.
Right. Yuju didn't have to slay that hard on her own, and remind everyone, like, oh, actually, like, she was a boss and still is, obviously. Give us some more music, please, Yuju. I beg you.
It's one of those singers, like, it's going to be really hard not to enjoy something they release because that voice is just it's just one of those voices. There's just some of those voices they can be singing and you're just going to pay attention. But the song in general too is just really good. So I think me and you both probably have a lot of the same honorable mentions too, because I know for sure me and you both really liked Chiquita from Rocket Punch.
Well. Yeah. So, this is the classic one since they're constantly always being compared. Chiquita by Rocket Punch and Love in Space by Cherry Bullet. Which one is better?
Why you gotta ask me that, dude? You know how much I love Bora from Cherry Bullet, and Bora can do no wrong in my eyes. Chiquita's a better song in my. I like it more.
Oh, really? I think Love in Space I prefer Love in Space, but they're both great, and that's the thing. It's just they both came out around the same time, and people constantly get Cherry Bullet and Rocket Punch confused, so it's always funny.
I'll tell you why Chiquita. It's literally because of the usage of that, like the Chiquita, you know, the way that hits, like like that's just so.
It is great.
Goddamn catchy. Like when that happens, you know, Chiquita, it just works.
Yeah.
As Todd Howard would say, it just works.
It just works. Yeah. But But yeah, shout out to Love in Space as well. Another a great song from
Yes,
Chevy.
everyone shower Bora with the love she deserves. Okay.
Mm-hmm. What I had was Alive by Lightsome. Just because this is one of my favorite choruses
Okay, I
we've had.
need to do a live where I just like watch only Lightsome or something because like everyone is just always talking about Lightsome in the
I think well,
other, like...
we've been watching Portuguese 48, and it's like, wait, you keep saying like, who's this? And we're like, oh, they're from Lightsome.
Yeah, like don't remember, and I feel bad because I've had to have checked it out, but like it must be really good because everyone's always talking about it. So that's why.
I mean, I think that honestly, like the debut was kind of meh for me. The second song sounded like an Eyes One song, which is not a bad thing. Vivace.
Versace on the floor.
It's like Vivace. Yeah, Versace on the floor. But Alive, the verses is still quite forgettable for me, but the chorus, you make me feel alive. That's not the key, but
yeah. I thought you were gonna go into twice there for a second. You make me feel special.
It's such a good melody and such a good chorus, and the choreo is really cool as well. They have an exceptionally good main dancer as well. I have to give credit to Gion. She's really really good. And I think because they're a cube group, they are going to kind of constantly be releasing sleeper hits. I feel like they're almost going to be in the CLC spot where they're like, where people will look back on them and be like, wait, they released a lot of good songs and no one really gave them enough credit until it was too late. But
that does unfortunately happen in a world of like just God Slayer groups like Ive and Stacy being around and stuff, and then like I don't know. It's I just call them God Slayers. I don't even know what I just made that up out of my head. I don't know. That's what they are now.
Titans.
Titans. Man, I have a lot written here, but I think another big one for me was Mason from Dreamcatcher was not one of my favorite comebacks of theirs overall from how many great comebacks they've had, but Starlight from that album was great. For me,
Starlight's on mine as well. Yeah, that Dreamcatcher when they go into their synth poppy territory is like, it's always a treat when Dreamcatcher do stuff that isn't in the usual kind of rocky vibe that they are so known for, because like it seems like every time they do take forays into other genres, it always ends up slapping, and I'm like, damn guys, like you've got all this in the locker, right? Like they can do like the drum and bassy type songs like Sleepwalking and stuff, and then or like those heavy synthy songs like Silent Night.
It's the like, particular
Jazz Bar.
Jazz bars. That's still anyone doesn't know Jazz Bar, you better go listen to that right now.
Yeah.
But it's the particular tone of that like MIDI to like da 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 da, like it's but like a somber synthwave.
Yeah, it's melancholy.
Yeah.
But yeah, very good stuff.
Starlight. It's so good. Anyone who hasn't heard that song as well must listen to it.
Yeah. One of mine is just a pair of legends releasing great music consistently for the whole career. This is Fanfare by Davichi. Davichi have just been Davichi. Like, there's not much you can say about them just for like how consistently they've been releasing great music. I think however long they've been around, 15 odd years or whatever it is, maybe longer. This one, it's a fanfare, so it's a bit I think people think of Davichi and they think only of like ballads and sad songs and stuff, but this is not. It's a bit more upbeat. There's horns. It's not bad. you can listen to it even if you're like, oh, I'm not usually a fan of ballads, I like more pop music or whatever. Like, you can listen to them. It's okay.
Just to make sure I'm remembering correctly, Davichi's the duo, right? I know.
The most famous song is 8282. Give me a call, baby.
I know who they are, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't thinking wrong when I thought of the
the duo. Yeah, they're like constantly in the top 10 girl group list on Melon, and everyone's always like, "The fuck are they?" Just super popular here.
So we should probably have some honorable boy group mentions, but unfortunately for all of you, me and Oliver do tend to.
I've got some coming up.
Throw one out there. Throw it out there because I don't really have it.
All right, Love by Monster X. Come
Oh,
on,
okay, yeah, Monster X was.
come on. That song was like that song was Monster X at their kind of their peak swagger. Um, like the like as soon as Chankyun brought out a pimp cane for the choreo, he's there like with a cane just vibing, and they're like they have that cool sax going on. And Jiyeon's like, we can do it fast or slow, and the sax like slows down. It's just a really cool, fun, like just very swaggy song, and it's just very, very Monster X, like everything that makes them great.
Monster X are like, I feel like in the absence of like, because Wavy hasn't been releasing like love talks, you know, and Monster X is like the ones making those albums that are just like the Ho anthem albums, you know, like
They have been
like,
hoeing it up. It's
yeah,
true.
it's like, I do have a boy group honorable mention. I just had to look at the name of the song up. Sorry, because off the ordinary release, like Maniac was good, but Muddy Water,
Muddy Water.
Muddy Water, it was my favorite release from that, like from Stray Kids.
Yeah, Muddy Water is a great track, like old school hip hop style.
Yeah.
Very refreshing to hear Stray Kids do that kind of style and do it and execute it so well as well. Yeah, definitely a good one. A couple that they're very similar to each other, and one is Monster X related, so I will like use that as a tangent. Voyager by Kihyun of Monster X, very again, I was kind of expecting him to do like a sad boy album, but he came out with like a more rock focused, like indie rock style album, kind of very early Radiohead about it, which leads me to my next one, which is going to be Grey Suit by Suho of EXO. Suho clearly likes Radiohead a lot because his music really sounds like
he fully went into the alternative rock category.
Yeah,
and
and that's not a bad thing at all. Like I'm a big fan of that style.
I do like really went outside it because he's in a group like EXO, which is God. But I do love when someone has just like a solo style that is just way different than like their main group, because that then they get to show a completely different side than just being like, I'm the dude from EXO doing EXO solo music or something.
Right.
A big one that I did not bring up, I was just looking through here. Oh, Super Yuppers, WJSN, hands down one of the best releases of the year. I like that is just the slaps, dude.
But and also get credit to 2AM's Changmin for his the writer of the song, his like his version of it as well is very interesting. But yeah, I mean that like Chokame as a subunit is just such a fantastic concept, and the way that they execute it shamelessly is just so good. Like
it was actually hard not to put this in top 5. I'm like just the catchiness of it is next level. Like that comes on, I'm blaring the speaker like like that whole run of
it's so camp and just like fun, just shameless fun. Like the fact that they have that like really like melodramatic speech like that Dayoung does in the middle of it, basically as the bridge of the song, is like it's very it's just such a unique thing. It's so entertaining.
I do really love that like trot kind of goofy in a sense style that like it's almost like an Orange Caramel kind of song, like Catalina or something, you know, where it's just like it's just pure fun. Like it's pure fun, like style of song. Like no one's taking themselves like extremely serious or something. But Yoram's in it, so it's I'm just gonna like it in general. So.
Very valid. it's actually like my whole bias line is of
Chokame, yeah.
Like Subin, Yoram, and Luda. It's like, okay, how could I not? How can I not? Like
it's just amazing.
So I'll do another twofer because they're both former members, sadly, of Lovelyz. So one is Plus and Minus by Yein.
Oh my god,
I
failed as a Yein fanboy
with a city pop vibe. You're my plus and minus.
I just talked to you the other day about how much I like that song, and then I failed to write it down. I'm sorry,
Um,
Ian.
yeah, and if you're watching, I'm the true fan. Marry me instead. Um, and then also Cosmos by Lee Soo-jung, who went by Baby Soul in Lovelies. This not the title track of her debut EP, but her debut EP was actually it's not even her debut. Is it? They maybe debut EP, not her solo debut because she debuted solo before Lovelies. But anyway, um, yeah, a super solid project. Like every song on there is really good. But Cosmos, I think, is my standout. Just a really cool, like smooth, kind of down tempo pop song. Like very unexpected for what I was kind of expecting she was gonna do. Like I wasn't expecting her album to have like guitar solos and stuff on it. And yeah, generally just a really solid release. So shouts out to Baby Soul.
Baby Soul. Is that
Baby
wait? That's
Soul.
actually her really. That's her real nickname, but she's the oldest member, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
she's like 30. That's probably why she's not
yeah.
going by Baby Soul anymore. But
Also, honorable mention to Miju winning like comedian of the year
yeah,
award or something like that. Like,
yeah,
Lovely's members are kind of killing it
K-
on their
yeah.
own.
K in the Death Note musical. GA signed for YG Plus as a
It
model.
just makes it sad,
Like
more so that they're
K
killing it so
Plus.
well on their own, and that the group itself like is gone.
Yeah,
Especially after Obliviate was like such a banger, the last thing they released. Like, are you
they
kidding
certainly
me,
had
dude?
more to offer.
Another one of those groups you guys all slept on. Now we don't get them anymore. So thanks for that. It's your guys'
This
fault.
is on this is on you,
This is on you.
person at home.
uh, I will kind of band these three together as my last honorable mentions. So
Okay.
these are three girl group ones that I thought were really great. I thought Villain Dies, because I didn't. Tomboy was a great release, but wasn't like one of my favorites stylistically. But Villain Dies was an amazing B side for me on that album.
Okay.
And then Yena Smiley with BB, just like I don't know how I enjoyed something that cute. BB was in the video, might have had a big thing to do with it, but I somehow really enjoyed that.
It's like I was never into like pop rock like then.
No.
Um, like when I was a teenager, when I was like what I would have assumed like the target audience, quote unquote, to be of like I was never huge into like Avril Lavigne or whatever, and then again it comes out with this that she's such of in that corner, and yet I'm just there like I say hey, I'm just like yeah, she is infectious. Yeah, Yena in general is just infectious, and
it is like a bundle of just like pure joy being thrown in your face, just like
it is her saying that she's gonna make you smile. It's like it's actually hard to refute that. Like
yeah. And as someone who's had to teach like Skater Boy a couple times and wanted to crawl in a hole and scream, like
I don't think Skater Boy is a bad song for the record. Like
for me it is a nightmare. So like for someone who's had to deal with that and then to enjoy something of that like style is saying a lot, because normally just anything that style comes on and my brain's like nope, shuts off instantly.
Right,
just like but
mine's usually the same.
Yena and BB wrapped that together in a package that made me just sit there and smile and be like hell yeah when I was checking it out. She's done the same thing again too.
It was smartphone.
Yena's just grabbed this corner of like doing that market where it's like I can handle
this
it.
is mine now.
Yeah, where I can handle it because it's Yena for some reason. I don't know why. It works because it is Yena.
Yeah, she's got it.
Sorry, there was just that final one I was gonna throw in on that because it was a trio package.
Yeah. Go ahead.
DM from S9 is a banger, and I just want to let everyone know that.
Yeah. From S8. Yeah. Very.
The worst part is too, like when I saw what member it was, I was like, oh, that's curious or whatever, right? I was just kind of warming up to really liking like Ha-young and Gyuri were kind of like two that were growing on me, but I guess now it's just Ha-young's my favorite. So
yeah, man, I mean taste, but yeah, I think from it's like. The releases this year haven't quite hit the same for me as they did as the releases the last couple of years, but like they are still very solid, and the albums I always enjoy as well. There's always some good stuff.
I'm a baseline guy.
They do a good baseline.
And DM just has one of those bass lines that hooks for me, that it throws me in.
Um, so one of mine, so Soul by Bowl 4, as a
I
very,
always call
very
them
solid
BOL4 when I
album.
see it. I can't
Yeah.
shut my brain down.
Ball began. um, yeah, they. I mean, she. It's just I say they. It's just she now, just Jiyoung. But she always releases really, really solid stuff, and that album is no exception. Um, that I think maybe I had a stronger connection to it because it came out as I was kind of getting past like the kind of halfway point of or my like 6 months of being in Korea again or something, and like giving that feeling, kind of connection and stuff. It kind of got me a feeling some type of way. Probably this might be the weirdest or most unexpected release. Everybody Unite featuring DJ Juice. Honestly, just a really fun and peppy boy group song. I know Unite, one of their members, has been in hot water lately because of some less than savory things he said about Twice's Chaeyoung from like 4 years ago that emerged, which I assume it was like 6 years ago.
How does someone have a thing where they specifically said something about a Twice member 4 years ago? Wait,
no, okay, so I'll cover it briefly. What, it was like someone unearthed an old post he made when he like 6 years ago before he was an idol or whatever, where he's like he uses a word which is commonly used in like what Koreans use in Japanese pornography, and shows him like as if he's looking up Chaeyoung's skirt, basically.
Okay, gotcha. Just like
an
old.
Just like a kind of dumb thing. I mean, I think he was probably like a teenager at the time, and just being like, "Haha, I'm making a dumb joke about a girl who's attractive." Or
his
whatever.
Cringy Twitter past showed up.
Basically.
Yeah, gotcha.
So anyway, whatever. Not condoning any of that bullshit, but the song is fun. That's why it's on there. Okay, a couple city pop songs I had to include as well. Elastic Love by Choi Hart, which is exactly the kind of Plastic Love related material you would think that it is. Very similar. But just it's city pop vibes. What's not to like, unless you don't like that. Had to include, of course, Starry Night by Nature. The temptation to put Rika Rika on here was a little bit strong, but no. But Starry Night, great song.
That's right.
And really cool to hear them doing that city pop vibe.
That city pop release.
Yes, and also Your Summer by Kim Adam. Kim Adam is one of my favorite city pop artists in Korea right now. She loves a good sax. I mean, city pop is great for saxes in general, and she especially fits them in really nicely.
I've been showed so much Yukika. Like, I feel like that's my, like, when I think
I mean,
of
she's
city
like
pop,
the queen of
when I think
city
of city pop now, it's like Yukika's like the
Yeah.
first thing that pops in my head. Just like when you brought up Arm, the first thing I could think about was the bass player from the Rolling Chords. For my mind, there was one Arm that existed. You said that name, and I was
That's
like, Arm
RM.
releasing city pop music from Rolling Chords.
That's RM and Kim Ah-lum. It's slightly different spelling, but yeah.
Gotcha.
Couple boy group songs I had. Ascension by Kingdom. Kingdom is that really old fashioned style, like medieval traditional Korean style group. Sadly, they lost a member, kind of like out of the blue, which is a shame. But I've been kind of following them because I'm really interested in their concept, and their songs weren't quite hitting. But then this one was like, oh, okay, this is hitting. Like, really, really liked it. Vivid by Gravity, which I think is like one of those like universe tracks that's normally kind of shit or like not very exciting, but
I've seen the Gravity stuff because usually Stray K drops quite a bit of those.
Right. This is the one which has a very, very similar progression to Attention by New Jeans.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I remember you talking about yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess we didn't throw a New Jeans honorable mention or something, but you guys can see how we feel about New Jeans.
I think they're after June, right?
Yeah, they are. That actually just happened. That's right.
Yeah. One we do that I feel like you would have mentioned. Did you mention it? Dilemma, I think.
No, I didn't, but you are right. So that's
got to be in. That's got to be a mention.
That might end up in the end a year for me. Like
Yeah.
when we do a full list, because
I feel like it got soured a bit because of Nan leaving and stuff. Like as that promotion was happening, like she was like recorded the song and then never promoted with it and then dipped. It was kind of like, oh, but yeah,
I don't think I've ever been as pleasantly surprised by just going and like, oh, okay, let's check out, like, because it was, you guys like shared it to me and I was like, oh, okay, like I like a pink shirt, like kind of thing was how I was going into it, and then just like, I don't know, dude, that chord, when that happened the first time, I was like, oh shit, like when,
yeah,
like, yeah, like this is really gonna slap. Okay,
yeah. That when the dance breaking out where they just have the bass coming through is just yeah, it's a great song and a great album too. Yeah, I mean, A Pink are legends of the game at this point and just still killing it. Like,
yeah.
what's not to love? I had to include, this is kind of a cheat because it's a repackage and the original release came out the year before. I was very tempted to include one of the songs that was released last year, but I was good. Black Hole by Yunha, from her End Theory repackage. Like, man, like that whole album is phenomenal. And like you could easily, I could pick like 1 out of 10 songs on that and include it. But Black Hole was especially a standout. I mean, Yunha, again, she's been in the game 15 years or whatever. She knows exactly what she's doing, but she's still very creative and will do like, she'll do like a mournful ballad one and then like a heavy rock song and like an EDM song. And then you're just like, whoa, okay. Like she's extremely versatile.
Just any genre that she wants to do.
Basically.
Yeah.
And then one more I had was, this is the last one. It was Rich Kid's Anthem, Epic High featuring Lehigh.
Well, if you put
again, like
those names together, it's like Epic High and Lehigh together. It's just that's.
I mean, I could have chosen similar to Yunha, and Yunha actually was a feature on this album as well. But I could have chosen any one of the songs on this on Epic High Part 2. Like it's a fantastic album across the board. It was between this and Champagne, I think, were my 2 favorites, and I ended up going with this one. But yeah, I mean, it's Lehigh singing an Epic High. Like, what is not to like? Like, you cannot go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lehigh's voice is just another example of one of those ones that's so unique that like I instantly just like, okay, what is she singing? Like just
right.
But Epic High too, Tableau and those dudes are so sick. I love all their releases.
So considered. I mean, like, we're always talking whenever like old school hip hop gets done in K-pop, we're like, oh, this is so cool. I love hearing this style. It's like, well, Epic High are doing this like all the time, and they constantly like. I feel like they have a really their lyrics, especially like Tableau's lyrics, especially like because a lot of it is in English, so it's very easy, obviously, to understand what he's saying. It's like they hit close to home, and like he's very open and just honest in ways that makes you really connect with the music, like in a way that it's like hard to do sometimes.
A flow of how he raps too that is like almost like he's like having a personal conversation with you or something.
Right.
It's
right.
like
it's like a friend pouring his heart out to you, and you're just like, damn, like you really do start like empathizing and everything with what they've gone through and everything. It's just they do that so well. And then what better vocalist to kind of accompany those kinds of feelings than Lehigh.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
So to conclude things, I will just throw 3 more at you, 2 that I didn't put in because they were Japanese releases, which was my favorite ITZY release was Voltage, without a doubt. Anyone who knows why I'm a Cherry Young fan, saw the Voltage release. Yeji Grunt was one of the greatest things that ever happened.
Right. It was very good actually.
Voltage, Voltage was my favorite release of theirs throughout the whole year. I really liked that. I liked it more than the actual main release they did. Stylistically, it had a lot of the ITZY style I like. Wild Side from Red Velvet.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
So another example of just, I don't know why every group has to release just like one of their best songs ever as like the Japanese release, but they do. Like Twice did it to me with Perfect World. Now Red Velvet's done it to me with Wildside, because Wildside would probably be just like in general one of my like just favorite Red Velvet tracks right now.
It was like hard to imagine. Yeah, so I was very ready to hear just a kind of like a mid, like going through the motions Japanese release, and I was like, oh god, guys, you don't have to keep, you don't have to keep doing this, like.
It's that's where you kind of got some of that darker upbeat side from them versus their K-pop releases.
Yeah,
that they were
it had like an edge to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
And the video for is just like, I think I talk about how Irene for a while was wrecking me, but Wildside just like threw Irene grabbed Excalibur and threw it at me, like basically when they did Wildside. And then final one, you might be surprised by this. I thought Momoland Yummy Yummy Love was really good.
Okay, I mean it's not a Japanese song, but
no. The other two were, but this
a non-Korean language song. No, Yummy Yummy Love is a really fun song actually.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by it. It's just really catchy.
Yeah, and I find it's I don't think a group gets more undeserving hatred than Momoland. Like Momoland, literally, they're not doing anything wrong. they're just there, and they're releasing a lot of fun, catchy songs, and people just shit on them, and it's really not fair.
Yeah, because their music, they have a lot of really good songs when I've like gone through their catalog.
Yeah, just really fun. And I know that and I didn't know anything about the Nati Natasha, the girl that they did it with, but she's like super big in Puerto Rico, and then I remember were like in Puerto Rico recently at like some huge awards show or something, and they had the controversy because Ciencio, like the really famous South American boy group, and were announcing that they were disbanding at this award show. They were accepting an award, and in their speech said that they were gonna disband. And Momoland was standing like behind them, and they don't know what to speak. They obviously don't speak Spanish, so they don't know what's being said. And so a jury's like clapping happily along, and people were saying like, "How dare she clap? They're disbanding. How does she not look that?"
She just thinks they got an award.
She literally just thinks they've got an award, and she's clapping. And I'm like, that sums up Momoland's career in a nutshell. Like, they just can't win.
It's just like unfortunate hate for no reason, and the thing is too, because when I've like seen certain like Nancy and like some of those members, I would say just do more of like a really sexy risque side than other girl groups do, which I think gets them some hate as well for no reason. It's like
I just started wild. I don't know what's going on.
But stop the hate, guys. Stop it. Get some help. All right. So Momoland releases some really good bangers, in my opinion. They just have some really catchy, fun songs to listen to. Yeah.
Shouts out to Momoland. That's the conclusion. This mid-season.
Exactly. That's how I wanted to conclude things. Just everyone stop it. Momoland deserves some love out there.
Very fair.
Overall, I think that's it, right? It is our mid-year review of this year. So overall, Love Dive, best song year so far. Best, I've killing it. I think me and Oliver both agree. I know you picked number one, but I think you can agree that Love Dive just like
Love Dive is in my list as well.
Love Dive took over the year for me, and I wasn't expecting that because I liked 11 from Ive. And I wasn't expecting Ive's next song to just be like, by the way, you're just going to be like the biggest fanboy now because we're about to just, boom, we're about to drop this. It was unexpected for me.
Yeah. There's a lot more to look forward to. Obviously, we are recording this on the 1st of September in Korea. So it's like we've listened to a lot of other things that have happened since. That might shake their way into the end of year list and shake these ones up, and obviously we still have 3 months to go. So we'll see. I'm really expectant about LE SSERAFIM's comeback, and also NMIX's because I was almost tempted to put OO in there in my mentions, but it's like I'm in that spot where I don't actually think it's a very good song, but I do enjoy it nonetheless.
You
That's
personally
my
enjoy it,
take
but
on
you
that.
can't call it like an overall of the year.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess to kind of conclude things, I might look like an idiot when we do the end of year if I'm still not like as committed to Love Dive as I am right now. But
We become a vicious IVE anti over the next 3 months.
Yeah, they declare war or something. I don't know.
You probably side with them.
Yeah, I honestly would. Who was it? I already said they could invade. I said someone could invade, and I would already. Oh, you from Oh My Girl, you invade the United States at any time. Yeah,
okay.
Anytime you want to invade, I'm ready.
Okay.
That has been it for this episode of the K-pop podcast. I'm Honan.
I'm Oliver.
Goodbye.